Hey everyone, it's Leticia here with another video. I know it's been a while since I've had a sit down and just kind of chat with you kind of video. I had recently moved, in case you haven't tell from my background. Yes, I moved and I am still trying to get adjusted to it, even though it's been about 2 months since I had moved. But everything is in boxes still. There are still a couple of items that we have to buy and we just haven't been able to because either we're saving up money or we just don't have time to buy it, or because we still have a Disney trip that we are trying to save up for, and we would just rather wait until after our trip, which kind of sucks because there are still lots of things in boxes that I need to get taken care of and that I need to donate. So yeah, there's that. Speaking of moving, I had someone, well, she's actually my cousin. She had recently moved into a new place with some of her friends, and she had actually asked me for some advice, and that kind of gave me an idea on possibly making a video of advices for all you people who are just moving out of your parents' house and you have no idea what to do or what's going on. And I'm really glad that she had asked me this because she is a little bit older than I am, and she had always lived with her mom, and you know, she decided that it was finally time to move out. And you know, like, it doesn't matter how old you are, there are always those times when you move out of your house from your parents, like your parents' house, and you just have no idea what to do. And luckily I was able to figure out how to do all of that before the age of 25. And here are some of my tricks and some of my advice that has definitely helped for me. Some of them I came up with it, and others I have found on the internet, like on Tumblr or such, and I just decided to take them for myself and I'm going to share them with you guys. Okay? And quick little disclaimer, there is no lighting in this house whatsoever, which kind of sucks because my apartment, all the windows are facing towards the east. No, the west. Sorry. It's all facing the west, and since the sun it rises up from the east and then it goes over to the west, I just don't have any lighting in here, which kind of sucks, but whatever. I have a light that can help me with it. So if you're wondering why it looks so dark all of a sudden, it's because I don't have any lighting. So here we go. The first tip is that you don't have to be an expert at cooking. Okay, you can just do the bare minimum and that'll be enough for you. I have gone through this so many times. I'm not an expert at cooking. I rarely know how to cook, and I've survived. So you don't have to be an expert at cooking. Just do whatever you can and that'll be enough for you. Advice number 2. You always want to have a bag of frozen chicken, rice, beans, pasta, milk, cereal, canned vegetables, and salt and pepper for seasoning. Those always come in handy, and you never know when you're ever going to run out of food, so those are a really good backup. And you'll never know when you're going to run out of money, because that does happen. So at least you'll have plenty of those items, and you'll never know when you're going to have your next paycheck. I speak of this from experience. At my old job, when I used to work at Queen Elizabeth, I always got paid bi-weekly, and we actually had like a physical check that we had to go to the bank and either cash it in or put it in or deposit into our accounts. And there has been times when my boss would not come in and she doesn't have anyone to send in the checks, And I remember very specifically that on a day that it was on payday, it was supposed to be payday, she was in Detroit and she had the checks with her. And I had absolutely no money. I had maybe $10 into my account. Luckily, I had Jamberry money that I was able to stretch out for at least a weekend until she came back. And I was very, very grateful that I had at least some amount of food in my house to make. So, like I said, you never know. Like, if you get paid bi-weekly, it really sucks. So that's why it always comes in handy when you have those food items in your house. So at least you won't be able to go hungry until your next paycheck. Advice number 3. Even though all you need is the bare minimum to cook, it's also a good idea to cook. And cookbooks come in handy. There are tons of recipes that you can learn how to make, like enchiladas, for example, or just any easy basic food dish you can learn how to make. And if you're anything like me, there are also those other ways on how you can learn how to cook without actually reading. I am a visual learner. I learn with my hands, and I also learn with watching things. And if I'm just kind of sitting there reading using cookbooks, I get too anxious and I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. So that's where Tasty comes in. I live on Tasty. Tasty is probably the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I am so grateful that Tasty just came into our lives. And now you are able to use Tasty also. If you have a smartphone, you are able to actually download the app, and they have lots of recipes that you can use. They are very quick, very easy, but most of it only takes like 30 minutes to make, which is completely awesome. So if I were you, I would highly recommend downloading Tasty, and I guarantee you are not going to regret it. It's the best way to learn how to cook, and you can always impress all of your friends and family when you take pictures of it. Advice number 4. If you're going to be living with your roommates, obviously you need to pick up after yourself, okay? If you make a mess, you clean it up, okay? It can be very annoying when your roommates just leave a mess and they don't pick up after themselves. You don't want to be that annoying roommate who doesn't pick up after themselves. Don't do that. Keep up with your cleaning, always pick up after yourself, and you won't have to have any arguments with any of your roommates. If you make a mess, you clean it up, avoid the drama, because if you don't, honestly, they won't say anything at first, but it will start to build up and it will start to be a problem in a house. And I've been there, done that so many times that it's not even worth it. So pick up after yourself. I cannot stress how important it is to do that. It's the most simplest task, but yeah, a lot of people miss it for some reason. Advice number 5, always be considerate of your roommates. If you're having your boyfriend coming over, or if your girlfriend or your best friends or some of your friends or whatever, always be considerate of your roommates and let them know in advance that they're going to be coming over. There has been so many times when I have come home from work and all of a sudden there are all these strangers in the house and I just don't know what to do. Like, my roommates have invited friends over and there's nothing that I can do about it because they're already in the house, and all the plans that I had made on my way to work as to how I was going to unwind for the day and just spend time for myself and what I was going to do for dinner, it was just completely demolished because I had no idea that people were coming over my house. So please be considerate. If you're a girl and you have a boyfriend and your roommates are girls, please let them know that a boy is coming over, okay? I know that there are some people who really don't care, but from my perspective, Honestly, I would honestly prefer if my female roommate had told me and let me know that a guy was coming over to hang out, so I know not to walk around in just a long t-shirt or super short shorts, or you know, like, at least I will be aware, not dressed up in my comfort home outfits, I guess, my comfort home clothes, and I will be a little bit considerate and just be fully aware, or just lock myself in my bedroom if I don't feel comfortable. You know, like, just be considerate. Always, always, always let your friends, your roommate know if you're having people coming over. They will appreciate you a lot more if you would do that, as opposed to just having people coming over and having them coming home to a whole bunch of random people that they don't know. Don't surprise them, just let them know. Advice number 6, always have a date on when to collect your money for bills, and try avoiding paying on the day that it's due or the day before. It's always best to pay your bills 2 to 4 days before it, because then it'll give it some time to process it, and by the time it's already been processed, it would either be on the day that it's supposed to be due or the day before, and by then you have already paid all your bills, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So have a date on when to collect all your money, pay it together or whenever you can, so that way it will have time to process it and you don't have to worry about the late fee. Okay, always pay 3 to 4 days before it's due. Advice number 7, a lot of landlords prefer you to mail in your checks or your money orders through mail. Some do it on the internet, which is awesome. But if your landlord is a little bit old-fashioned like mine, they usually always want checks or money orders. I don't trust myself with checks, so I always go to Walmart and I get a money order for 70 cents, which is awesome and it's pretty cheap. And the great thing about that is that you can have all of your roommates go together, like all of you guys go together to Walmart and have one mail order or money order for your rent. Okay, just all of you guys go to Walmart, pay your portion, and it will be on just one money order, if that makes sense. What you can do is take all of your roommates and yourself, go to Walmart, order one money order for a certain amount, but let them know that you guys are going to pay for your portion of the money order. So just tell them how much you're paying for it, insert your card or give them the money, and then go on to the next person until you have one money order for your rent. It's awesome. It's probably the best option to do that rather than to just keep having a whole bunch of money orders all separately and then put it in an envelope and send it to your landlord. It's very fast, very simple, and very easy, and I've never thought of doing that until I saw my boyfriend doing that with his roommates. And it is possible. Walmart should let you be able to do that. I would highly suggest doing that, so that way you know that everybody has paid their part of the rent and no one is slacking off. Okay, advice number 8. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really trust myself once I get paid, because all I want to do is just spend that money. I honestly really do want to spend that money. So what I do is I have a whole separate checking account that is just strictly for my apartment savings. Okay, so anytime I get paid, I deposit or I transfer $100 into my checking account, my other checking account. And that way I am saving my money for my rent and all my other bills for my apartment, and it stays in that checking account, and I'm not tempted to spend all my money right away. It is possibly the best thing I've ever done. Not to toot my own horn, but it definitely has helped me making sure that I have enough money for my bills and for my rent. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you, if you don't trust yourself, to set up an account for your apartment and label it as apartment savings. And every time you get paid, like when it's payday, transfer $100 or so, depending on what your rent is. Deposit money in, or transfer money into your apartment savings, and do not touch that savings or your apartment account until you have to pay for a bill or your rent. Advice number 9. If you're anything like me and you're having trouble keeping up with your cleaning, it always helps when you have room checks. In college, they always have room checks every 2 weeks, and if your room isn't clean enough, or if it's not to the RA's expectations, they will charge you some, like depending on the dorm rooms or on campuses, they will charge you as little as $10 for every piece of trash, which kind of sucks. If some, they even charge you like $100 if it's like really, really messy. So that's honestly, that's what really helped me keep up with my cleaning. If you're having trouble keeping your place clean, set up a day on when you're going to have room checks and clean. Make sure to have your place completely cleaned, like your room completely clean, or just your area completely clean. And if on that day that you have set up for room checks, if it's still messy, put $25 in a jar. It kind of sounds a little lame, I guess, not saying it out loud, but it helps. It honestly helps, because if you don't want to spend money on not keeping your area clean, then you should probably just clean it up before your room checks. I guess that's just an easier way on how to keep your area clean until you get into the habit of keeping your house clean and your room clean. So it helps. At least it worked out for me. And my last tip. Whenever you're cooking, it's actually pretty nice to cook a little bit extra so you're able to have some leftovers for lunch. I know that there's some companies or some workplaces where they have a cafeteria, which is awesome. Or we have some people who just pack sandwiches every single day, or I don't know, frozen TV dinners, which, not that there's anything wrong with that. However, if you cook a little bit of extra, like when you're cooking dinner, and if you cook a little bit of extra and you have a little bit leftovers, it will probably save you a lot of money to do that. It will save you a lot of money. You don't have to go to a gas station for a frozen burrito or a hot dog. You can actually take your leftovers for lunch the next day. And also, everybody would see how amazing you cook and what you had for dinner last night. That's what I always did when I lived by myself. And I had a lot of compliments. Everyone was always looking at me while they were eating their little chicken sandwiches or cheese sandwiches, I don't know. While they were eating their sandwiches, and then they'll look at me all in jealousy, and at least you will have a hearty meal if you cook a little bit of extra for your lunch. So those are my tips on how to live by yourself and away from your parents. I know it can be really hard to get adjusted to living in an area without your parents, where you're so used to having your parents doing everything for you, or to having your parents always cooking for you. It is a little bit difficult, but trust me, you'll get through it. And you know, with all these tips that I have shared with you, I have been living by those tips ever since I had moved out of my parents', my dad's place, when I was 21, I believe. Yeah, when I was 21. So it's helped me out, and I have lived by myself for almost 2 years, which is awesome. So believe me, if I can get through it, you can too. If you're watching this video and it's your first time moving out of your parents' place, it will be okay. You will be fine. Just don't be afraid to ask your parents for help or for advice, because they will always be there for you. There has been a amount of times that I've called my mom or my dad for some advice, and they have never failed to help me. And even though you're just trying to prove to your parents that you can do this on your own, don't. It's okay to let them know that you're struggling. Okay? So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If this video has helped you in any shape or form, please give it a thumbs up, as I know that I had helped you out a little bit in some way or another. And if you had used any of my tips and if it has helped out with you, please comment down how it turned out, or if you have any advice on how to live resourcefully on your own without your parents, also please comment down below so we know, also so I can know how to live comfortably without my parents. I've been on my own for 3 years now, and I'm still learning. So yeah, any tips, comment down below. Let's all help each other out, and I hope you have a great day. Okay. Peace, love, and hair grease.